Yes, your criticism of it and that of Milton Friedman are often combined in the public mind, but I think it's fair to say that you don't entirely agree with his analysis of
No,
inflation.
very far from it. To see, in one respect, Milton Friedman is still a Keynesian, not on monetary theory, but on methodology. Keynes, very much against his own intentions, decided for a victory of what's called macroeconomics. And it still dominates the economic theory, and Milton Friedman is one of the apostles of macroeconomics, which has the effect that while we completely agree on general economic policy, we wholly disagree on monetary policy, because his theory is based on supposed regularities between statistical magnitudes. He is convinced, and he believes he has historically demonstrated, that there's a simple relationship between the total quantity of money and the price level. Well, one of my main difficulties is that nobody knows what the total quantity of money is. Money has so many different meanings. I have long been aware it's untrue. In fact, it's now 50 years that I once said in effect that one of the greatest misfortunes could happen in the field of economics if people ever cease to believe in the quantity theory of money, except that should ever come to take it literally.
In fact, you're really arguing that monetarism is an example of the more general error of thinking that you can know too much, you can know all of the facts of some economic problem.
Oh yes, you can put it this way, that the aggregates or sums, averages, which statistics offer you are no substitute for the detailed knowledge of every single price and their relations to each other, which really guide economic activity. That's a mistaken attempt to overcome our limited knowledge.
But there doesn't seem to be any great difference between you on policy.
No, well, if you look, forget about money for the moment, we completely agree. We agree in free markets, we may not entirely agree which form of monetary system is most favorable to an efficient market operation of the market.
Because you would prefer to have competing money, so that...
Oh, I'm absolutely convinced that no government is capable of politically or intellectually of providing exactly the amount of money which is needed for smooth economic development. And I should be all in favor. In fact, I'm convinced that we shall never have decent money again before we take from government the monopoly of issuing money and allow competing institutions, of course under different names, not issue the same money, but competing monies, and let people decide which kind of money they prefer to use.
Of course, they already can do this for all sorts of purposes. For example, if I decided to ask my employer to pay me in Deutschmarks, I suppose I might be able to persuade him, or I could agree to sell my house in terms of gold rather than in terms of pound sterling.
Well, very lately it has become legally possible in England, but only quite recently. And for the time being, for most purposes, you have practically no choice but to use the established currency. I think that has to change, and I doubt even whether at present governments would not effectively suppress at once any development in that direction. They are very keen on preserving their monopoly, because, of course, their ability to pursue something like monetary policy depends on this monopoly. Abolishing the government monopoly of the issuing money would deprive governments of the possibility of pursuing monetary policy. That's what I want to say.
Yes.
But most people believe monetary policy is an essential tool of government.